And I'm black, y'all. And I'm black, y'all. And I'm blackity black. And I'm black, y'all. And I'm back, y'all. And I'm black, y'all. And I'm blackity blackity. I'm black, y'all. What's up, y'all? This is Mr. Goodviews. And today, as you can see, we're reviewing Get on the Bus for Black History Month. I watched this movie a total of 5 times and typed pretty much the whole movie on my notes to try to give you guys what I think would be a good, a refined movie review. I'm going to go more into exactly what happened in the movie and give bits and pieces of my information, especially since, due to the fact that I am black, I think that I can give a piece of my mind to each one of the characters, because a lot of us have a bit and piece of each one of these guys in this. And I'm talking to black people and black Americans at that. Let's get that straight. This is black American culture. No disrespect, but it gives you a side of what we go in our daily lives, but in a group of black people at one time, not just 2 or 3. Okay? Now, usually I sit here and I'm like, should I go into all of the characters? But this is a pretty stacked cast, man. Let's start with that, okay, guys? So here it is. We've got Ozzie Davis, who plays an older man, obviously, because Ozzie Davis was older at the time. He plays an older man named Jeremiah. We got Andre Brower, who recently died, I believe, a couple years ago, who plays Flip, who was also Thomas in Glory. You've got Harry Lennox, who's been in numerous black movies. You got Hill Harper, who was also in Lackawanna Blues. You got Isaiah Washington, Wendell Pierce, Charles S. Dutton, Richard Belzer, who happens to be on NYPD, I think, one of those cop shows. You got DeAndre Bonds, who plays Stacy in The Wood. You got Albert Hall, Gabriel Cassius, he's a great actor. You got young Bernie Mac. You got Joy Davis. You got Roger Guinevere Smith. You got Paula Jai Parker. She was only in that movie for a second. Then you got my baby, Kristen Wilson, who's the mom, who's also the mom on, she's the mom on Dr. Dolittle. Oh, gorgeous woman. She's hot. She's hot. But, so yeah, this was made in 1996. This movie's about getting on the bus. Let's be honest. Black History Month should be longer than a month. It should be all year, because black people have gave everything they can for this country. I understand every race has their quote unquote bad people. But to be racist towards black people all year, every day, just for the fun of it, is getting fucking annoying. Let's just be real with that shit. Okay. Get on the Bus was made in 1996, and it's about a group of gentlemen who are going to the Million Man March. Okay? And as you heard before, I gave you guys the list of names and stuff. This movie is quite good. Quite good. It's a Spike Lee joint. So if you know how Spike Lee joints go, it's a lot of characters from his other movies in these movies. So it's a lot of familiar faces. It's great acting. It's a smooth movie. I will say the timing is okay in these movies. I will say about Spike Lee, some of his movies has weird timing, and I think that's what catches people off guard, where they're like, "Oh, he went too artistic with it." But there's certain reasons why he goes into those dynamics because he's more of a background person too. You can't just understand the foreground and watch the movie. You got to be watching the set, what kind of set it is, what's on the tables. He's really a Stanley Kubrick type if you really look into Spike Lee work. Starts off with a Michael Jackson song, which is always great, just like Free Willy. You got a little Michael Jackson going on there. Okay, so when the movie first starts, you see an older man tethered to a younger man by chains. So in this word, this to me this represents in the movie they're locked like some type of bondage. It's already bondage. You know that they're in bondage. They're in chains, and it starts off with a boy in chains. And it's not really like hella chains. It's just a hip chain to his wrist. It's almost like if somebody's carrying a bag of money, but it's a person. Then after that, it cuts to a light skinned man and this girl in the car. They're talking to each other. They both look like they're biracial, but you can tell that one of their parents, you can tell that their mom happens to be white. You know what I'm saying? In certain cases, you can tell when biracial people, you can tell they're biracial, but you can tell at times that their mom happens to be the white one, like they were raised by their white side of their family in the black culture. You can tell that. So the way they're talking, he's telling her he loves her. She's telling him, why you going to a Million Man March? Are you just trying to be blacker than you are? And he's like, I consider myself black. And he's telling his girlfriend that like she should already know that, but she's telling him, you don't even act black. So what's the point of you even going? Do you want to find something that's not there for you? And that's just the start of this, okay? So then in some frames you start seeing um there's like a kid in his early 20s walking around with a camera, and then he's going to each of the main characters and you're getting blips and blips of each of them. So you know that even though this is a movie, there is inside this movie somebody's documenting their whole trip. You know it's going to be a documentary because the boy with the camera, the man with the camera is uh, videotaping everybody, right? The ticket man comes up. Everybody walks up to a bus. They're in South California. They're going to the Million Man March. It's a like a 1950s tour bus they're hopping on called the Spotted Owl. Now they're gonna reference Owl in this, but we'll get to that point. So he seems happy. The ticket man seems happy. He seems really happy, actually. He seems like he likes his job. You can tell that he's ready for people to get on the bus. He's ready to go because he actually wants to go to the march. He doesn't seem like he's worried about anything else but getting into the march to actually feel the reparations of having all those black people there. You can see that off jump on the like in the beginning of the movie. Like he doesn't seem like he's doing anything like, oh, he's not worrying about luggage. He's just worrying about your ticket and can I go, right? The old man comes up. He calls him Pop, and it's like giving the respect to an elder. All black people in this, most black people give respect to their elders, you know, unless old people be on that bullshit. Because some old people do be on bullshit. Um, he calls him Pop. So now you can see that there's some kind of elder in the bus, which is gonna give it some type of wisdom, you would think, in that sense. And just sure enough, he gets on the bus and he's starting to talk to people like, oh, what's up, man? What's up, man? You know, power to the people, going down the aisle and stuff. And this is Ozzie Davis's character. His name's Jeremiah. He doesn't say that yet, but so the old man says he never felt better in his life to a young Muslim man in a dashiki, which I believe his name is Jamal. So um he doesn't say anything that they're these two distinct men in the back, because you could tell he felt some type of way, like an aura maybe, because the way he looked and shifted, he just went to sit down. And Jeremiah is talking to everybody but them two, but he's just talkative. He keeps talking to Jamal, and in my eyes, you could see something's wrong with him, because let me backtrack. Before he got on the bus and he got to the bus station, he got off another bus and like threw some pills away. So you can tell he's sick. Like you can tell there's something up to him, But boom, so he's back on the they're on the bus. We're back on the bus now. So the rules on the bus, there's no drinking, no doing drugs. You can obviously see that. There's another Muslim guy that's on the bus who's in some garb that he looks like he's one of the devout that's with Farrakhan, like, cuz he has sunglasses on, like he's definitely in the nature. So that's cool. They said it's going to take them 3 days, or 3 days to get to California, DC. Jeremiah prays for the bus, and then he talks about some of the men who died, and he gets interrupted by some dude named he gets interrupted by a dude, and then the bus driver is like, "Hey dude, shut the fuck up, like you're too loud, bro." They play James Brown, and everybody's dancing, but you can see that the devout Muslim dude is not dancing. He's not worried about nothing but getting to the march. And you can see that because during this whole time he hasn't moved, he hasn't said anything to nobody. He's ready to go. He probably was the first one on the bus. And that plays a key role in this. Like that plays a key role in this, to be honest. And then you get to hold on. Okay, so yeah, I wrote this one down. So the light skinned dude, when they're playing James Brown, they're they're dancing on the bus and shit, and everybody's singing James Brown. But you can obviously see that the light skinned dude, he's off beat. He can't even get most of the words right. Everybody is singing the actual words. He's just clapping and trying to do the head bob. And you could tell obviously his mom was white and he is biracial, but they haven't said that yet. But you can tell something's off with him too. Like he's trying to fit in, especially from what his girlfriend said to him before he even got on the bus, and how she was acting because he was leaving her. So the son and the dad argue a little bit on the bus. You can tell there's some tension. You don't know what's going on, but you can obviously tell. And then you find out that the dad has a court order for the son because the son stole something. So the court told him you can either be tethered to your dad for 72 hours or you can go to jail for a year. And he took the tether to his dad, which I would too. So while everybody's talking and stuff, the light skinned dude, which is happen to name Gary, that he'll say that in a few. Light skinned dude plays air guitar in the back of everybody when they talk and stuff. And then he confronts a man to find out what his name was because he's been filming everybody. And he goes by X. Now, Xavier then talks to a guy named Flip and asks him why his name is Flip. And he says, my name really is Philip, but that's my stage name is Flip, which is stupid because why would you ask him, why is your name X if your name is Xavier? That's your God-given name. But then you change your name to Flip for a stage name, which is kind of funny because then you got Flip Wilson, which I believe was a black American actor. Yeah, Flip Wilson is a comedian actor, and I guess that was Spike Lee's tribute to him. And so that's pretty cool, too. It's a lot of hidden black gems in this. So you get to the point where after they're arguing and stuff and Flip and him, X are talking. X is the one with the camera. that he's going there to get networking because it's the Million Man March, and he wants to be famous. He wants to be an actor, so he figures that if he goes to the Million Man March, he can get somewhere in his career with it. So Flip asks Gary, "Are you biracial?" And he's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Yes, I consider myself black, but my mom's white, and I was raised by a white woman because my dad was a black cop who got killed by a black man." And X is asking him, "You got killed by a black man?" He's like, "Yeah, my dad got killed by a black man. Are you done?" So you can already see that X is intelligent, but he's very nosy, but he knows how to ask the right questions, and maybe that's because he's introspective, trying to find out who he is as a black man, but he wants to videotape his journey so his kids can see it, which is also good because that's a bright star in the future, looking at it as okay, the future is learning, but what are they learning? You know what I'm saying? X is very smart. So then in the back of the bus, two men start arguing. One dark and one's a light skinned dude, kind of looks Puerto Rican, but he's not. He's black. And one looks dark and he got twists, but he looks like a rocker type. And they start arguing about their relationship and why they came to DC. The light skinned man admits they're gay on the bus to everybody. And then Flip is like, "Oh, you're fucking gay," pretty much. And then everybody else is like, "Oh, we don't want these gay dudes on here." And Jeremiah has something to say always about something, but everybody still again leans to Jeremiah because he's an elder, and everybody asks him, "What would you do, Jeremiah, since you're the oldest man on the bus?" He said, "Well, I always thought about what it would be like to have a gay kid. Would I still love them?" And he said he don't know. And then he ends the thing right there, and everybody's like, that didn't go anywhere. And I was just sitting there like, it seems like Jeremiah got a lot to say, but it's just saying stuff. He's just saying things that don't really mean nothing. And that's a key point of this too. You can already tell that he's saying stuff that kind of don't mean nothing. They're just looking at him to say something, hopefully in wisdom, because he's supposed to be older than everybody. So then you get to the point where the Muslim in the dashiki that was talking to Jeremiah at the beginning, he starts talking about his girl immediately, and then to cut everybody else about talking about the gay shit, and then he starts to say that she taught him faith. They start singing Shabuya, which is an old black song. It's a talking game, Shabuya, Shabuya, roll call, Shabuya, boo, boo, Shabuya, roll call. If you don't know that, it's a lot of black hand games that you play as a kid. If you didn't know that, you've got concentration, you got engine number nine. It's all these games you play as a kid that in the black culture that travels through the whole country that we all know somehow, and they're all singing it, but then everybody's on beat except the light skinned dude and X. Now X is on beat a little bit, but he messes up at the end part because he acts like he don't know what to do, and you can't tell as if he's joking with it because he seems like a jokey joke type, and everybody can tell that because he has a camera and he's in their face, but he's cool with it because he's asking the right questions, but they can't tell really if you can't really tell if he's acting like he's black even though he's black, or if he's more on the white side because he's a Bruin, I believe, and he has a Bruins college shirt on because he's in college. He said he's 19, I believe, or 20, and you can't really tell with X sometimes either. Now, everyone seems to be on beat again except the X and the light skinned dude, which is crazy. Now, Bernie Mac is on there because he just said that he has a bubble gum. Bernie Mac's character has a bubblegum company, and he wants to network and go up there to make his business boom because he said he's blowing up, which was funny. And the dude that he came with, um, I guess he's from New York, but they came out of California. And he's going there because he wants to see if it's a government psyop to blow up all black people at one time, which is something that you got to think about as a black person too sometimes. I mean, a lot of racists look at that, and there's a lot of speculations and stuff with like genocide and stuff around the world. So it's not hard to think that people or somebody who could do that, especially a million black people during a time of celebration, in fact, of after slavery and stuff, it's not too far fetched to think that can happen. So that was something that I thought that was very interesting, right? Then you got the driver seemed chill and stuff, but then he got to the point where he started talking to the ticket man about his daughter getting pregnant at 16 and how the boy she got pregnant by is going to quit his job, quit school, find a job and do something about it, and then crashes the he crashes the bus into the ditch. And I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Like, it also shows that even though he was acting calm, he wasn't calm at all. He was thinking about something else the whole time, which led them to be detoured. Now, the detour obviously is going to change the entire dynamic of the movie, but you can also tell that at the end of the movie, it may have changed the course if they did make it. And that's going to be at the end of the movie when I get through this. Obviously, this is going to be a long video because I'm going to read the whole movie basically. So, spoiler alert. Um, After they crash and stuff, and Jeremiah start playing guitar and singing, X still seems to be the only aware person at this point. He's the only person who's still like, oh, there's the bus. Oh, this is happening. Oh, this is happening. While everybody's just sitting there waiting for the march. People, it seems like X is more in the moment than everybody else. They're more in the future, waiting for the future, and X is in the now. And I think that plays a lot of this in this movie too, because X, Hill Harper's character, X, he's in the now. He sees everything in the now. He's worried about what's going on now. He knows the future is to come, but he wants to know what's happening now. Everybody else is so focused on getting there, that they're not focusing on how they got to get there. And that shows a little bit of anticipation, but that also shows different black people go through different type of stress and different type of situations to where it goes, you don't know where they've been raised, and how they associate what now means to them. Okay? So the replacement the replacement bus driver they get is a Jewish white man, and that just throws the whole movie off. You start seeing how they act towards him, and they bust his chops. That everybody's like talking shit, like, "Oh, we got a white dude as a driver," and he's like, "Man, y'all got me going to the Million Damn Man March. I gotta drive there in 2 days at this point, and there's 40 black dudes on here and me." He did not feel comfortable at all, like at all. Like at all. You could tell it. You could see it in his eyes. So Jeremiah that tells X and the Muslim dude that he doesn't like how the two Evans, which is Evan Jr. and Evan Sr., which is the father-son combo that was tethered in the beginning of the movie. That's their name. They're both named Evan. So the Evans are cuffed together and they don't like it. Jeremiah says he used to have two boys and he used to have two boys and a wife, but he lost it all. Then you get to another scene where the white bus driver says he's colorblind, and X keeps talking to him. The gay light skinned dude starts to grill him, and he seems like the only black dude on the bus who's actually about being militant. And that's surprising as well because you see that he's an outward militant person. He's about action now. He's not standing for anything because he's telling the white man how it is right now, while everybody else is like, "Hey, yeah, what's up? Mm-hmm, yeah, like we'll respect you. Just get us there." And this dude, the light skinned gay dude, he's like, I don't give a fuck if you get me there or not. You gonna know what the fuck happened to us as a people, which I respect. But it's ironic that he did it out of a lot of people on the bus. You would think that maybe Jeremiah would say something because he's older, or the bus driver. But that's the bus driver's kind of friend. They've been driving together for so many years that they already have a companionship. So boom. They make a Spike Lee joint, which was funny. He's like, "Who do you think you are, Spike Lee? Get that camera out of my face." So it seemed like Flip was getting fake phone calls, or he was picking up the phone a lot because he said that he's an actor and he's trying to get a role next to Denzel. And it seems like he lying, and he's telling everybody he's out front confronting everybody, and he starts getting into a conversation and like a maybe like a quarrel with Gary, who's like the whitest dude on there, the lightest, whitest. He's a black dude, but he's mixed. And then you got darkest. Flip is the darkest. And they have the most tension the whole time. Gary says that he's a black like Bob Marley, and that was I mean, Bob Marley is black, but he's mixed. You know what I'm saying? So he understands that he's black, but he's also white. He does a lot of white things that would consider him more white. He's trying to be white passing. It's just, it was a reach, really. Now, Flip references house niggas to Jeremiah, which is also pivotal too, because in the later on you'll understand that too. Flip references house niggas like we would be in the field while Gary would be in the house, and then boom, Jeremiah all of a sudden goes back into a long spiel about, oh well, slaves and this, and like he has a lot of knowledge, but it's book knowledge. It seems cut and clean, like he knows it, but he doesn't know it. Like he read about it real quick, or he did some researching, and that's how it sounded to me. Because like I told you at the beginning of this, it seemed like Jeremiah has something to hide. And he's the only one on there that has that feeling to me at this point in the movie. So they listen to Jeremiah, blah, blah, blah. The black gay dude gets videotaped, and he gets documented by X, and he says that he was shot by two white men in the Marine Corps, and he served 10 years, but he got shot by fratricide because he was black and gay, and they found out. And it seems like when they keep talking to the younger Evan, the son who went to jail or whatever, it seems like when X keeps talking to him, he's showing them how he feels about compassion and what is good and wrong, and what he thinks is good and wrong, because you think, you start to feel that X has a good head on his shoulder. He's starting to teach a little bit to the newer future, which is younger Evan. So yeah, that starts to, they start to get really deep into that aspect. Now, they start talking and they meet some. They go outside. They take a break. They start meet girls, and they start talking to these black women, and they're like, "Why are you going to the march? Shouldn't men be coming out here and supporting the queens?" And it's a lot of us black women versus you black men type of stuff, and that's how it goes sometime in this community. You will see that a lot. Like, why does he? Sometimes you gotta understand, men are gonna get things. Sometimes women get a lot of things. It don't really matter, but it shows that his dynamic is he's trying to get some, and he's hoping that he can get some, and he's hoping that Gary is a wingman with him, even though they have their differences. And the two women start to like Gary more because he's light skinned, he's tall, and he's more attractive apparently to them. So then, after that, after he says that, Flip cuts it out, and he's like, "Well, he has a girlfriend," and then the girls leave. And I was pretty sorry because it was working in their favor, and the girls would have came, but Flip didn't want to wait that long, and he didn't like the fact that the lighter skinned dude got it faster than him, which it goes like that in black culture too. Sometimes light skinned people do get it faster and are considered more attractive, and that's just called, bullshit, but it be happening. Spike Lee is good at showing the different aspects of all colors of black, and how who what kind of black you are and what social status you are. It's every type of black person in this movie. It's not just like, "Oh, this is a black movie." This is a black movie. You know what I'm saying? It covers all type of facets of black people. So they end up going to a restaurant, and they go to like a predominantly white restaurant in the country of Tennessee. Um, the restaurant doesn't seem racist, but you could tell there's some outlying. Hey, if you say the wrong thing, you're some niggers type thing going on. But it also seems like they're about their money. And what I do know about bars will take your money. They don't give a fuck about your face. As long as you spreading that money, they cool. So everybody gets meals. They end up talking to some white dudes. And the two Evans are talking to some white dudes, and the white dudes are like, "Why are you chained up on some, why are you chained up, you know, on some, you're an animal type shit?" And he's like, "Oh, it's a court order." But you can also see that older Evan is cooning a little bit because he doesn't want to say too much to the white dudes. And then you got young Evan who's like, "I don't give a fuck you. This is what happened. Keep fucking with me." And then the white dudes are like, "Oh." So it shows the dynamic of the father who's trying to teach his son how to be a man, but the son has a different retrospective and is seeing his father act as a man as the first time. And you could tell that he doesn't really want to be that type of man because his mom says certain things, and he's finding out that it's not true, and some of the things aren't true about it. So that showed that. So in between that, the white bus driver that was driving them gets scared and doesn't want to drive them no more. He tells them that he either can get fired, and he tells the ticket man he can either get fired or he can cover his ass because they've known each other for a long time. He doesn't want to get fired, so he doesn't want to be going to the Million Man March as a white Jew. He does, he's like, it's a suicide mission. He is racist, and he's just as racist as they are, so he's out. The ticket man says he's gonna cover for him, and he leaves. So now ticket man is driving. So Evan offers to drive because he can drive too. So you'll see that in a second. Yeah, again, like I said, Evan Sr. seems docile. I didn't like that. And then you see another scene after that. Jeremiah starts talking to the bartender who's bringing him a drink and stuff, and he starts telling him about slavery and different types of famous black people, like the white dude cared. And that shows to me, I already knew that, okay, that's what Jeremiah was hiding. Jeremiah is a coon, but he's getting respect as an elder, and nobody knows that Jeremiah is a coon. They just know that he is telling them some wisdom that they think is true, and they have no clue if it's true or not unless they read the books. And maybe somebody did, and maybe somebody didn't. Did somebody know that Jeremiah was bullshitting? The whole time nobody knows, but you could tell Jeremiah was like just talking. So boom, they ended up, yeah, like I said, Jeremiah was teaching a white man black history, and they're going to the Million Man March, and I was like, that's weird. It also showed that the Muslim dude is scared of gay people because the Muslim dude with the dashiki went in the bathroom, and the gay dude who was talking straightforward, the light skinned gay dude who was talking straightforward to the bus driver, was making him feel uncomfortable in the bathroom, which was kind of weird. But yeah, um, they pick up a suit wearing loudmouth dude who gets on the bus, and he starts just calling them all type of niggas that he's trying to go to the Million Man March because he want he wants to network and stuff because he's a car dealer salesman, and he owns a whole bunch of real estate and cars over there in Nashville. So they let him on the bus, blah, blah, blah. But while they're on the bus, he starts calling them niggas and telling them that they're slaves. They end up throwing him off the bus, which was good. Um, he calls them lazy niggers. They all call him Uncle Tom. X is the one is the he's on the verge of, and it seems like X is the one who's on the verge of manhood. And Jeremiah shows him the ropes and passes the torch to him by drumming. And he gives him the drum that he was playing in the beginning to signify the torch passing. And I thought that was like signified because black people love drums. It's a signify African culture. Evan offers to drive because he said he can drive everything. Um, but the ticket man told him that the only way I'll let you drive and take over this bus is if you unchain your son. We're going to the Million Man March. And he's like, maybe you're right. So boom. Now you get to the point where Flip, the Muslim in the dashiki, and Gary are talking again. For some reason, they will not just. They're acting like friends, but they're not acting like friends. They're acting like friends, but they're not acting like friends. So they start talking, telling each other stories and stuff, and then the Muslim in the dashiki, Jamal, he's like, you don't know nothing about me. I was a Crip. I killed many people. You know, and the only reason why I changed is because I I he's like, the only reason I changed is like my friend died, and when I was walking down the street one day, I met the girl of my dreams, and she helped me get into the Muslim, and I've been helping kids at the youth center. But come to find out, Gary is a cop, LAPD, and he basically tells him, somebody like you killed my father. That's why I became a cop. And now you're like, damn, that's bad because Jamal just said that he's killed more people than on his two hands. And finding out that from the same city, Gary's on the beat, it's over with. You can already tell that once they get back to the city, it's head hunting. Um, so they get to the point where it's in the middle of the night and they get stopped by a state trooper, and the first person that stands up is Gary. Oh, I'm LAPD. And then the cop was like, "Sit your black ass, sit your black ass. This is Tennessee. Sit your black ass down." Finally got. I think in that moment too, he got his wake up card that you are black. And I think in some type of feeling, in some type of odd way, that was gratifying to him. And that's how you can see in his eyes that I am black. And he sat down, but it's also undignifying because he thought that he was the black to where he had superiority and he could do something about it. But it's also soul crushing to find out, yes, you're black and they consider you black, but you're not the black you thought you were considered. You thought you were a high ranking black, or you thought you could say whatever you want type of black because you're light skinned. And see, his wake up call was right there in that moment because he didn't give a fuck if you were LAPD. You were still a black man who's going down. So the cop gets up there and the state trooper brings a dog in, and the dog goes up. It comes back out, and he's like, "Well, you boys have a good time." And boom, silence for the rest of the night. In the middle of the night, you see Jeremiah up, flipping the back, but X asks Jeremiah to tell the truth finally of why he's going to the march, because it seemed like in the past 2-3 days, every time X asks, either something happened or Jeremiah was trying to act like he wanted to beat around the bush. So it finally gets to the point where Jeremiah says he missed the March on Washington and he wanted to go. Like, he wanted to go, but he got a good paying job and didn't want to let it go. So he also said that the people at the job had to ask him how he felt. They asked him how he felt about Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and he told them that he didn't know them cats. He didn't want it. He didn't want any rebellion, and that the white man had him in their pockets 100%. He had got a raise, he got a raise. He got a personal office. He bought a car in the suburbs, bought cars, boats. He trained people and they got promoted on him. He was faithful for 33 years. They had a merger and then fired him. He begged for his job. And then a Japanese company came in. He begged for his job and they gave him a 33% reduction in pay and kept him on until 2 years. 2 years prior to this, prior to the march. And when that happened, he started drinking and he lost everything. He lost his wife, he lost his car, he lost his credit. He lost everything. He can't go to the hospital anymore. That was probably his last visit for getting them pills that he threw away. And you find out that Jeremiah was a coon. So the whole time he was talking about black history in this whole movie was him just talking about him being black and knowing bits and pieces of it because he really wasn't there. He didn't know any of it. It was just what he thought he had heard from probably other people because he was so focused on trying to be a good nigger to these white people that he didn't understand what he was doing until it was all gone. Jeremiah was the coon and everybody on the bus didn't know, and they thought he was a wise man, but he wasn't wise at all. He's probably the least wisest on that bus, yet he had so much say this whole movie. And that's another thing. Don't be getting led by crabs in the barrel. Crabs in the barrel mentality. He had a crab in the barrel mentality for almost 70 years and then tried to take it upon himself to change his ways in the last 2 years of his life when he could have been doing better the whole time, putting black people down when he's looking for help. But us as black people are going to help you. So he was in good hands, but it's still a shame. Even me personally, I struggle all the time trying to keep my sanity in this world. But what else can you do? Let's go back to the movie. He said all that he owns is in the suitcase. And if something doesn't happen soon, he's going to get sick or something. And the reason he's going to the march, because he has to go to the march or he's going to die trying, immediately cuts off. Now, that's a symbol, too, because every time Jeremiah is long, stretched out, Jeremiah gets what to say, what he wants, sing what he wants. People are listening to him. Women. Now, it cuts off. Boom. Jeremiah cuts off. Why? Because that signifies we know the truth now. You're out of here. We don't want to hear you. Flip gets the call. He gets the part, which was crazy because he was actually an actor and he gets the part. Wants everybody to be happy. They're not happy. The gay dude doesn't care. So, boom. They punch each other. They start fighting. Now, boom. Now they're going outside. They're fighting. The black gay dude, the Marine Corps one, starts fighting Flip and beats the shit out of Flip. He beats the shit out of Flip to the point where young Evan gets a chance to run away. Now they're all running in the field trying to get young Evan. That was annoying as hell because they gave older Evan faith in the sense of, okay, maybe we'll get the chance to do this, and he let his son go and his son ran away. And now it's more, this whole movie is like, who do you listen to? Do you listen to self or do you listen to nobody? And the only person who didn't affect the whole time is the Muslim in the suit. He kept his faith and he kept sitting there and he did what he had to do to get to where he needs to do, and he didn't bother nobody. And that shows that too. There are some people who are very disciplined. Very disciplined. They have a goal. It's there. So boom. They find him. It shows that they find him. Older Evan finds him, which shows him that, okay, his dad found him. It gives him the safety and security, like, oh, my dad actually ran and came and searched me. Boom, father-son bond. They get back on the bus. They get to D.C. You turn around. X turns around videotaping and videotapes Jeremiah passed out. He's screaming, calling. The mixed dude is screaming, breakdown, doing CPR, telling everybody, being dramatic, over-exacerbating everything, and says, everybody shut the fuck up. Boom. Immediately, Jeremiah's in the hospital. It gets to this point where, boom, now they find out Jeremiah has no family. The doctors, they find out that he had pills that he didn't take. He had heart disease. He knew that he would die on this trip. Jeremiah dies. They give the drum to X, symbolizing it has passed on and it's passed down. What are you going to do with it? Most of the men in the video, most of them stayed in there waiting to see if Jeremiah was okay, which is about half of them. You got Evan, you got the dude in the dashiki, you got Gary. You got most of the main characters staying, and the rest of the men, they went on the bus and they were going to leave, but they turned around and came back because they all felt sad for Jeremiah because he meant so much to them on the bus. And him being a coon didn't really bother them because, to be honest, most of them didn't hear that. Most of them didn't even know he was a coon because they weren't listening, and the only person who truly knew who he was X, because X has it on videotape. And people will be able to watch that in the future and understand what happened after the march, but at this point he's dead. Jeremiah's dead. So Jeremiah had wrote a note. They all grab the note. They go to the Lincoln Memorial, and they have a little memorial for Jeremiah, and saying that the Million Man March has started, but the march has just begun, and that's when the movie ends. This movie was pretty good. I really enjoy all Spike Lee movies. I think there's a deeper meaning. Just like I said, each of these characters have their own reason why they're there. They're all black, but it's different type of facets of black people. Each of these black people have a different type of persona and community that they're in that the other people aren't in and that they won't understand. Like Flip's a black thespian. A lot of them can't talk to Flip and ask him stuff or do anything like that because he's an actor. He ain't a fighter, right? And he's sitting there trying to fight a 10-year war veteran. Are you crazy? I thought this movie had a lot of good attributes. It was a solid movie for black history. It really had me thinking, who am I as a black man? What can I do for my people as a black man? How much have I helped or hindered my culture? What can I do for my future to change things? Is there something that I can change and help the people that I've hurt in life or do something better to change my life? I guess that's all you can do is try. This is a really good movie. Black History Month should be all year. And just understand that even though somebody's older than you, don't mean that you should listen to them. Sometimes you got to do your own research and keep the fight fighting. Love your people. Black people's history is American history, and Get on the Bus is a pretty good movie. I really enjoyed it. Shout out to Spike Lee. This has been a visual residual.